There are so many parts of Accra that were hit. Heavy congestion on the road. It took people hours to get home. And even this morning, the rains have started again. So please, as you commute to work, as you go about your daily activities, please ensure that you are safe and sound out there. You're welcome to the show. Good morning to you. My name is Lily Mohammed from now till 10 a.m. I am your anchor, and so buckle up. Let's enjoy a jolly ride as I serve you sizzling breakfast. Let me start by motivating you. Our quote this morning is by Walt Whitman, who says, "Keep your face always toward the sunshine, and shadows will fall behind you." Walt Whitman is saying that keep your face always toward the sunshine, and shadows will fall behind you. No matter what you're going through, no matter what life throws at you, always look on the brighter side of things. Sometimes it can be very, very overwhelming. Sometimes you feel stagnant. Sometimes you feel you have settled. Sometimes you feel that it is not worth it. But I tell you this morning, no matter how you feel, always look on the brighter side of life. Let's help you improve your English language writing and speaking.
Today's word is Groke. Groke. It's a verb. Groke means to stare at someone while they are eating in the hope that they will share their food. Let's exemplify it. It was obvious that the boy was hungry the way he kept groking at me. Groke.
How many of us have not groped at people's food? You know, anytime somebody's eating, especially when you were a child. We did not hear anything, so we on the aftermath of yesterday's very short torrential rains. And yesterday, it was reported that the A&C Mall, the solar roofing of car owners or the properties can seek. What is it that the law has? What type of respite do they have in the law? Can they seek any remedies? Can they test the law in this regard? Mind you, very often in these spaces, there are caveats that while you park there, whatever happens to your car is entirely, you bear entirely whatever it is, whether your car is booking into whatever it is. But this was quite an unfortunate incident. And this was caused by the roofing, the solar roofing of the establishment. Can these occupants of the cars, or can these car owners sue for damages and then test the law in this regard. It's something that we want to query here on the show this morning. What remedies are there also for them in terms of insurance? I mean, I know that a lot of insurance companies, if you do comprehensive, they cover, but will they cover the entire cost of it? Will the company also have to bear a bit of that cost? So that's what is on your screen. And other parts as well. There was a car that was trapped around the Kotobabi area, and under a tree. We learned, and so after the said incident, the A&C Mall, the owners of A&C Mall, put out a statement. And the statement reads, "We regret to inform you that not too long ago, the solar panel structure in our parking area collapsed due to heavy rain. Thankfully, no injuries were recorded. Our team, along with the relevant authorities, is on site to manage the situation and ensure a swift resolution. We sincerely apologize for any distress or inconvenience this has caused and appreciate your patience as we work to address the situation. Your safety remains our top priority. We'll keep the public informed on any updates." That's according to A&C Development. So this was a statement coming from the A&C Mall. Quite a regrettable and unfortunate incident there. I had to go out to all the people whose cars were trapped under the solar panel that caved in at the A&C property. But later on in the show, during the breakfast review, we'll engage a lawyer and query what the remedies are there for these occupants or for these car owners. What can the law do for them? Can they test the law? Will they win in this regard? We'll find out later. And then for the various insurance companies, meet some of them and then find out what is there for these occupants as well. That's it for Inside Out. All right, so let's head to the sports world and tell you how we are going to America, Canada, Mexico. On Sports Chat this morning, GHOne said he's the man who's always outside. Today he's really headed outside. Has joined me in studio. GHOne, good morning.
Good morning.
Now, okay.
It's been a while after the Black Stars game. We've not met.
Exactly.
So, and I know that we always try to put things in place.
Yeah.
You pass it, then you elaborate. This is my bag.
Okay.
And
where are you headed?
And you down ball, calm down.
Yes,
Gbajiri. Some time back, Nigerians used to say Ghana must go, Ghana must go. Indeed, the prophecy
has come to
pass. The spirit. Ghana is going. So this is my bag. And I wanted to use a Ghana must go. I realized that they might sack me at the airport. So I've put this one together. I've paid half of the for the price. So I'll pay half by November thereabout. We have 4 games to go.
I like your confidence.
Oh yeah, yes. I'll show you the table right now.
What's informing this confidence?
I mean, the Black Stars of Ghana have shown us that they are true. I have a love point for them actually.
Hey,
Black Stars.
We're an interesting bunch in this country.
Yeah.
Not too long ago, almost every Ghanaian was chastising the Black Stars.
Yeah.
Oh, nothing good can come out of Black Stars. You know, the stone that the builders rejected has become the chief cornerstone. My heart beats for the Black Stars alone. A rhythm that echoes, a passion that's grown. In the stadium, my heart finds rest, a haven where I am forever blessed. The players' skills ignite a burning fire, melting doubt and soothing every desire. With every goal, my love for the team expands, a never-ending sea where our hearts entwine and stand. Black Stars, we love you. Black Stars, you go do. Black Stars, overcall. What a team! We love the team. We love the Black Stars. Thomas Partey, Jordan Ayew, senior man Jordan Ayew. Charlie, hey, Lily, I felt so proud on Monday. And you know what toppled it? Yesterday, Nigeria played a draw. We'll go to Nigeria later. But then let's now look at the table and see how Ghana is faring. Yes, this is our team. Black Stars. Oh, I love the Black Stars of Ghana. Walk up in the air. We are there already. Nothing can stop us. So the Black Stars are on top. Yes. So all the teams here have played 6 games now. Okay. So they've all played 6 games.
Yes, 6 games.
So we are left with how many games?
Everyone has four more to play. Yes.
4 more to do more.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't want to go there this morning. I don't want to go there. You should never go there. All right, so the Black Stars are on top with 15 points. And then Comoros won yesterday. So they do have 12 points. Madagascar 10. Mali 9. Central African Republic 5. So 4 games to go. Our next game is against guess who? Chad. So Chad, another child abuse. So that's why I brought my bag. But
what if they thwart us?
Oh no. It can never happen. It can never happen.
I like the renewed confidence.
We love the Black Stars.
Wow.
We love them. So
is this the same Black Stars that not too long ago?
Yeah.
Almost every Ghanaian felt that when Black Stars are at the capital.
Yeah. We know. But then we are the JP president says, bring back the love. The love is back.
But
the love is back.
We've been asking for this for God knows how long. We've been asking people, bring back the love. We've been rallying around the stars. Yeah. But the stars fail to shine. This time around.
Says Black Stars, you are the sunshine in our day. They come in every storm. The safe haven where we stay. You are the missing piece that makes us whole. The ones that bring joy to our Ghanaian soul. Say Bas. Yes, we love the Black. So as for the World Cup here, we know we are going. We are going. So I just wanted to give us the next fixtures.
But let me ask this.
Yeah.
Should we? I mean, I don't want to be a prophet of doom. Should we not win the remaining 4 games? What happens? Are we still going?
No.
I mean, let's look.
So yeah. So let's get a table. Let's get a table again. Okay. So this is for Nigeria. We'll talk about Nigeria later. But let's come back to Ghana. Group I. Good. So we have 15. And we face Chad. Obviously, I can tell you for a fact that even Accra Suffolk, not even Accra Suffolk and Kotoko can beat Chad. They're not too good of a side. And that game,
where are we facing them?
In Morocco, because they don't have a very good pitch at home, so we can't plly.
But why do you like Morocco like that?
So
we played Madagascar in Morocco.
Yes. So most of the teams here don't have good home venues, pitches, so you have to choose a neutral ground. And I mean, Morocco, they do have quality stadia. That is why we use Morocco. Okay. So we'll play Chad first.
When?
Around November. No, that is October, September.
Okay,
so
we'll play Chad again.
Yes.
Okay.
Then we face Mali. We beat Mali away. They'll come back to Accra. We beat them in Accra. So when we do beat Mali and Chad, we'll have 6 more points. Then our next game against Comoros, if we get a draw, we are through. We are true. We are on top. The thing is, we are on top of the table. That is the most important thing here. We are on top of the table.
What will it take Comoros to topple us? What will it take Madagascar to topple us?
If we drop points, and Comoros go out there to win, that is where it will come up against us.
So who is Comoros meeting next?
So Comoros are actually going to play Mali.
Okay.
Yes, and then they would also face Central African Republic.
Okay.
Yeah. So now the good thing here for us is that Mali are a big side in African football. They have 9 points. They might be looking to get the second place spot. I told you last week that there is a chance for 4 best second place teams, yes, to qualify to the World Cup as well. So for these other 3 teams, they would also be looking not for just the top spot, but then to qualify for so it is not all over for these 3 teams. So that is what will help us here. But the good thing is we have the destiny in our own hands. That's why I brought the bag. We have the destiny in our own hands. So we are not going to use calculators that we just win all 3 games. We don't need to win the 4th game, then we are through. But the 4th game, we go win. Me and no, and why Black Stars? What a team! What a team!
But I am wondering.
Yeah.
It has always been this set of guys that we've used primarily. What happened? Was it tactical change? Yeah. What was it? Was it mind games?
Yeah.
What was it?
I mean,
because I am wondering how for the AFCON we used these same set of players and we failed woefully.
So for the AFCON, it was a different coach. Yesterday we had a white Kudus fan, West Ham fan, who travels just to follow Kudus. He was
really?
Yes, last year.
This is how people love
our
icons.
players. Yes. So he came to Kumasi just to watch Kudus last year, and then he was at the Accra Sports Stadium on Friday to watch him. Now he said something. He said that off air. He told me that Chris Hughton failed in England. So when Ghana brought him in, he was like, "This is a big mistake." Now Chris Hughton sent us to the AFCON. I was one person who was on radio, and I said, "Come on." As for Chris Hughton, there is a big no-no. So first of all, the approach. He's a defensive-minded coach, and it killed us a lot. It killed our talents a lot. Now, people would also ask, what about last year? I think that there were issues in camp. The mind of the players were not settled. The team now has a psychologist. It has helped them. With even this captaincy issues, we saw Kudus come out wearing the number 10, and we all know who the number 10 belongs to, with the captain armband. It was like a direct diss to somebody. And, you know, there are people in the team who love Andre so much. So for you to just come out and then put on the armband and wear number 10, all these things were part of the issues in the Black Stars. But thankfully, Coach Otuado says he's learned, because he was the one who gave the captaincy to Kudus and all that. And it has shown that the captain, senior man Jordan Ayew has a captaincy now. And you can see, in our last game, he gave 3 assists. He assisted Thomas Partey, who a lot of people think that he has issues with, and they're actually leading the team to victory. So for me, there are no issues now in camp that we can visibly see and say that, this. And another good thing is the introduction of Stephen Appiah. Last 2 months, Stephen Appiah was in Europe, touring the European leagues, speaking to the Ghanaian players. Come on, how is it? Hope you're going to come back. We need you. And it is just good to see someone who was in that position before in the player relations responsibility role now, managing the players. Another big thing is the presence of Asamoah. He's not in there as an executive person, just a former captain, just a former striker. He's in there motivating the players. So for me, these things have actually helped. Yes. And Otto is learning. Let's not forget that he was not experienced. I mean, he was not too experienced when we brought him in. He has the talent to be a good coach. So all these things have coupled and helped us. One other thing is our opponents, they didn't serve us so much threats. Yes, Chad has not won in their last 7 games. So it was good that we beat them. But then these games are good to build momentum. So these are some of the reasons why we are seeing the Black Star that we are seeing today. But you see, Nigeria, they have their stars, and they lost. They actually dropped points yesterday. And now we'll watch a video right now. Charlie, I don't know why they can't take Ghana out of their mind. So let's just move to Nigeria. Congratulations to the Black Stars. Lily and I, we are happy. So Lily, I don't know. You'll be getting your bag. You have to...
My bag has been packed for over a year now.
Hey.
Yeah.
Hey. So, okay.
What trick?
Sorry, Mankani. All right, so congratulations to the Black Stars, and they are on top. So we'll be back after 2 months to continue the World Cup qualifiers. Now let's move to our brethren Nigeria. I understand that some of them watch us on Facebook. So, Omo, Ghana must go. Who go? You will stay. You will watch on DSTV. Okay, so this is Nigeria's group. They're in group with South Africa, who do have 13 points, and Nigeria find themselves fourth. So if this was Ghana, they're like, Charlie, right out here. Hey.
But so what are the chances of Nigeria now?
Very slim.
Let's do
very slim.
Okay.
The next game for South Africa is going to be against Lesotho.
Okay.
And you know what? Lesotho play their home games in South Africa because they don't have a very good pitch. So they play their home games in South Africa. So for South Africa, that game is going to be like a home game for them. So if South Africa beats Lesotho, they're going to open another gap. Then the next game is against Nigeria at home.
In South Africa?
In South Africa.
Oh, wow.
So that is where Nigeria would have to win their game against the likes of Rwanda and Benin and then hope to beat South Africa. But then there's an issue here. We understand that South Africa used an unqualified player in their last game against Lesotho. So points might be deducted. So we are still waiting for the verdict on that. That is what they are praying for now. But then even with that, South Africa will still be on top of the table. So it is looking like Omo Niger will stay home and watch. They should come. They should pray that GHOne we might get the right to broadcast and then they can watch live from there. But let's get to watch this video. Victor Osimhen, we all know him, star player for the Super Eagles. Could not believe his eyes. They actually considered a goal in the 90th plus 3 minutes. Yeah, so this is a fun. Let's just get to what the reaction of this fan as Nigeria drew against Zimbabwe.
Now them I go blame. Say would they play World Cup qualifier? Ghana don't watch the jersey to go. They don't book flights to go US. We there here, the press calculator we battery not there inside. If you the win match, you don't see say this game had you. You've not played anything. You are lucky to get Osimhen Eagles. The Osimhen Eagles struggled to get one goal from the same Osimhen. So it was not business as usual. So if you are winning a difficult game, do you make the tactical substitution you're making? Is it attacking substitution or defensive substitution? How? What does it even take to get this coaching license? Why are we here? My brother, they see problem. What do they do? People study law for 7 years, they don't get work. People study medicine, they don't get work. You 2 years, they don't run come out. Can't they keep people under pressure here? Waiting we stand here, they see. You see this man we get moro fear them. My life under Eric has not been rosy. They talk am. Every day I come here, you give me hope. Osimhen don't score. The game not the flow. Not be say you they dominate. Okay, you don't get that one. See, African football is not like European football. It not be every day you go score 5-4-4. One goal is equal to 3 points. A team that is finding it difficult to come to your 18-yard box, then you go get a goal. What do? Close it up. Close it up. It's a shame that somebody like Osai Samuel, they play for Mourinho. I don't know. Now what you in the play for? It be like. No, but I say we don't come out today. We come out today. We create.
Now this reminds me of Ghanaians not too far away in the past.
Yeah.
You know.
You know when
Ghanaians will constantly be ranting on social media everywhere, Black Stars this, Black Stars that. And our fellow brothers from Nigeria were rejoicing at the time.
Yeah.
Now the tables have turned. PSC Esther Noka say Adum no nti table no atene.
So this dress is from a Nigerian brother.
And
so that's why I'm actually in this. You know, it's a cold weather, but I'm still wearing this for you. Because the World Cup una no go. So una go watch. You don't see my bag. We dey go the World Cup. You go watch for TV top. Ghana Go gather, go gather. All right, let's come back home and quickly do some interesting things with football hooliganism.
Okay.
I remember Omina Sharks, Dr. Adum.
That incident.
Yes. Well, we understand that he has been banned by the GFA for 3 months. Wow. Yes, for inciting players against the referee. If you remember.
But what role does he play in all of this?
So what actually happened was that he left the stands, came onto the pitch.
Oh, yes. He's the owner.
Yes, and for you to do that, and he tried to have a tete-a-tete with the referee, and that is not allowed. You cannot have a tete-a-tete with the referee. So GFA is banning him.
And this was caught on tape?
Yes. He actually confirmed it. He actually confirmed it himself that yes, he.
Is it public, the reasons for what he did?
So there was a penalty that was given against his team, and then
he disagreed?
Yes.
Okay.
And
but if he disagreed, was that the right forum?
Yes. That was wrong. That was totally wrong. So he has been banned 3 months and given a fine of 10,000 Ghana. How money there? No be anything. 10,000
cities.
10,000
Have you seen how he has agreed? Saying there is no money. When you take somebody's bank and he has agreed over that, you think 10,000 is no money. And it's money.
It's big money. Yeah, and then a player of the club, Assin, has also been handed a 1-year ban. So look at him. That's the player in there. If you watch the video critically, let's go back to the other video. The player was actually fighting with the referee. So he's been given, a 1-year ban in there. Yeah. That is the player in green holding the boot, and the police trying to separate him. Yes.
Okay.
Trying to attack the referee, and it was a bad one. So he's been handed a 1-year ban by
from the Ghana
football. Yes, so he can
Ghana football.
Yes, so he can
go. Well, you never know. Sometimes certain misfortunes are blessings in disguise.
And then let's end with some World Cup qualifiers, because yesterday Argentina beat Brazil blue-black.
Hey.
Yes, so Argentina beat Brazil 4-1 in their World Cup qualifiers. And interesting one, for those who follow South American football, the rivalry there is even fierce than what we have here with Nigeria. And for them, it was a tough battle. So a lot of people, as for Argentina, they've already qualified. So we're feeling that we'll just allow this one for Brazil to qualify. But then it was a very tight game. And so the likes of Cunha and Julian Alvarez scoring there. It was 1-1, but then eventually ended 4-1 in favor of Argentina. So congratulations to Argentina. They've already qualified for the World Cup. Tomorrow, I'll bring you the list of all the countries that have qualified. I know Ghana, I'll put asterisk on Ghana. We'll be there. With my bag in here, I know surely.
Inshallah.
Yes.
Okay.
And let's end off with some tennis stories because Arina Sabalenka, has qualified to the semi-finals of the Miami Open yesterday after a thrilling encounter in there. And then we also saw Djokovic qualify for the quarterfinals of the Miami Open. So congratulations to them. Yes, Arina Sabalenka facing it off with Zheng yesterday, and it was a tough one for Sabalenka because she actually had to come back and then qualify in there. Congratulations to Sabalenka and then Djokovic. Right. So I don't know what your favorite sport is apart from football.
I like athletics.
Okay. So
I'm wrestling.
I'm not saying anything.
I like
we'll be back with something fresh from arm wrestling. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. But then there's one song I want to sing. In a way. It means that Canada godo. So that's the meaning of the song. Godo. Intiweno.
Like
it's not Kana. Yes.
So
in a way we call it Kana.
So you see, there's a Kana in there.
And in Canada.
Kana, and there's America. Okay.
All right, anyway. So that's all for the sports chat this morning.
Thank you very much. You can go with your bag.
Go do.
We are back after this. Here on GHOne. My name is Lily Mohammed. It's now time for the breakfast review. Our breakfast review this morning, we've been joined in the studio by Nwang Falong. She is a member of the NDC communications team. We're also being joined via Zoom by Amanda Clinton. She's head of Chambers Clinton Consultancy. She'll join us pretty shortly, but let me start off with Nwang here. Nwang, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Lily.
How is power?
It's an interesting question.
Yeah.
What's power?
You're in government.
Oh, I see. Mama.
What my naba?
Abain papa.
Okay.
That's how I like to put it. Yes, I'm abain but abain papa. Abba. And you can feel the change. You can feel the movement. Okay. You can feel it from the new activity. Look at the budget. The level of acceptance of the budget. I mean, the minority will continue to say whatever they want, but nobody is expecting them to wake up and start praising government. You know, oral has started working. There have been a few raids. When you listen to some of the scandals, you yourself will start to...
Did you say a few raids?
There have been a few searches.
Okay.
Yes, there have been a few searches, legal searches. The minority has had a lot to say, trying to paint it to look like something that's never happened before. And just for the record, there are a lot of previous NDC appointees who were searched, who were even manhandled, and the NPP was able to defend that. Now, in this case, where there are so many allegations of corruption against their people, they don't even want to allow a simple search, a search that a warrant was clearly issued before they moved in for the search. Nobody's going to do anything illegal in this country. The NDC is committed to due process, but we are also committed to ensuring that the people who plundered the state, the people who stole from this poor nation are brought to book, because we cannot continue to have a system. I mean, every well-meaning Ghanaian should be pushing for some form of accountability for the right thing to be done.
Do searches also include taking out storage units of devices when you go into people's homes? I'm sure later when Amanda joins us, she can tell us what the procedure is.
Yes, but we should also note that I believe you are referring to the former governor of the Bank of Ghana.
Home, yeah.
He has not spoken about the incident.
But
he has not made any allegations against government. It's the minority leader who continues to lead a brigade against government. But so far, we have not had anyone come out to say they have done something wrong. There was a warrant for the search. The search was conducted peacefully, and whatever they had, you know, whatever information they had was dealt with, right? Do not forget that nobody's going to go search anyone for absolutely no reason. And the former governor knows very well why his house was searched. If I do something wrong to the country, wouldn't you expect some form of accountability?
Of course.
Yes. And you know, when we put people in sensitive positions, once that position is over and you are going home, you need to avoid unnecessary ties or compromises to security. I mean, when you were there, you had security clearance, there were certain things you could do. But once you move out, let the new people take over and do their thing properly. Do not interfere. Do not try to breach anything. Just accept that you are no longer part of the team. You have done very well in serving your country. The country is grateful. But let the new team do their job, just the way they allowed you to do yours without any interferences.
But in all of this, you mentioned oral. Now, the Attorney General briefed the press and the public and said that, well, this particular person, Kwabna Eduboahing, is a person of interest. He was arrested, and a lot of things were enumerated as evidence. Is it not going to thwart the entire process? Because you've already thrown the evidence to the public. Is an evidence game. Why not go to court and present your evidence and let the court find him guilty? a lot of people say that, especially on the minority side, say, oh, you're already crucifying him in the public, and judges are human beings.
I like that you say on the minority side. We should also listen to the voices of reason in our society, in our country. There are a lot of people who are not NDC members who have wholeheartedly supported this. Now, if you listen to the kind of things that were done in this particular case relating to the Signals Bureau boss, you won't believe that such obscene levels of corruption can happen in this country unabated, and nobody wants this man to be held accountable. Lily, the Attorney General is a lawyer of the people. He's my lawyer, he's your lawyer. This case has national interest. It's a case of accountability. When it comes to dealing with public funds, you cannot tell the Attorney General not to put the information out there and make the information public. The information is not private information. The crime was committed against the state. It's a crime committed against you and I, against the good people of Ghana. They deserve to get information about the case. They need an update. They need details. They need to understand what's going on. It's like you've gone to hire a lawyer to go for you to court. The lawyer has to give you updates. That's what the Attorney General is doing. He cannot leave us in the dark. He's answerable.
You see, a lot of people are also questioning. Yesterday on my way home, I met a senior lawyer who says, well, I am not entirely against what the Attorney General is doing. However, this is new to us. You have not gone to court, but you're already throwing your evidence in public.
So we think that he's throwing all his evidence in public, but clearly there are some evidences that he cannot even reveal. He has given us the salient points. And I don't know if you... Look, in this particular matter, let's look at just one part. The $7 million cyber defense contract.
Yeah.
That's one of the cases against Adum.
Yeah.
January 30th, 2020. And these issues have piled up over the years. In 2020, January of 2020, Mr. Adum, he signed a $7 million contract with an Israeli company called ISC Holdings Limited. The contract was supposed to purchase cyber defense system softwares for the government of Ghana, not for himself, for the government of Ghana. That clearly tells you that this is of interest. Who is the government of Ghana? You and I. Now, he proceeds to, in February 2020, he transferred 27.1 million cedis. At that time, that was $4.6 million US, from the national BNC's operations account at Fidelity Bank to his private BNC account at UMB Bank under the pretext of paying for that software. You've signed a contract with a company. You're going to pay that company. It's an Israeli company. What is the money doing going to your account? You are transferring the money to your personal account. Are you the one I'm going to pay the person? Is it Ghana paying the person, or you are the one paying the person? And if you have no hidden motives, why are you transferring the money to your personal account? It doesn't end there. After he transfers the money to his personal account, on March 18th and March 30th of the same 2020, he moved 22 million from his private BNC account. Sorry, he moved 22 million more from that same national account to his private account. So now the total amount he's transferred to his private account is 49 million Ghana cedis. A total of $7 million at that time. He's moved all this money to his own account. And then from that, only 9.5 million was sent to ISC Holdings. Out of 49 million Ghana cedis, he sent only 9.5 million. And at the time, the total of that in USD was $1.75 million. That's what he sent to ISC Holdings. While the remaining 39 point something million cedis was diverted for personal use. Over $5 million diverted for personal use. Then he's paying for properties. You saw the list of properties. 27 properties in one estate. I'm sure that estate will be scared after he's made that transaction. 27 houses in one estate. At the end of the day,
could he have been a one-time payoff? I'm not sure.
No, he didn't pay all at once. He paid it over time. There's even some suspicion that he might have paid some in cash. And apart from that, there were other payments for different properties in different places, including the United Kingdom. Then he was transferring money to all sorts of places from his account. And this was from the money that he transferred from the national account to his personal account. Let's say for some reason you have gone to renegotiate the contract and cut it down to whatever. So it's no longer 7 million. Why are you taking the rest of the money for your personal use? And then he falsified an invoice to cover the transaction. What kind of brazen corruption is this? You are attacking state funds with impunity, treating national funds like it belongs to you, like it's your personal property, and no one can do anything about it. Now, in the spirit of transparency, accountability, it is important for the Attorney General to tell us the status of this case, the status of the case in which an individual has decided to plunder state funds.
But did we as Ghanaians ask him to tell us the status? We're only asking for accountability. We're asking for probity. If we're asking, go to court, let the court convict these people, and let us retrieve our monies. That is what I'm sure that's what a lot of Ghanaians are interested in.
Well, it begins with now. He has started the case. The two individuals, they were held in the custody of Yoko. They have applied for bail, and then from there it will go to court, clearly. Now, the Attorney General said something very significant. He said if you see him coming out to talk about any case, there are so many cases on his desk. He's under pressure to give updates on these cases, not only to the president, but to the people of Ghana. If you're me, I'm asking. There are people out there who are asking questions. You came out and you told us about this case. What is the status of that case? How far with the case? You need to give me an update. Okay. I want to know what's going on. Are you even working? Some people think he's probably not even working. So he's giving us the information as it is at present. This is the status of the case, and I'm going to court. And he said he's not going to come out and talk about any issue unless he has watertight evidence. When he comes out and starts discussing a case, all the other cases, he hasn't spoken about them because he hasn't arrived at a conclusive state yet. So when he gets to that point where he knows that this is not just an accusation, because just because someone has been accused doesn't mean they are guilty. But once he comes out with information, you should know that the level of investigations have come back with interesting findings with which they can actually secure a judgment. And after giving us that information, he's proceeding to court. Nobody should be in a hurry. The minority, they are in a hurry. I have no idea why they are defending so much. There was another MP on Joy News just yesterday who clearly denounced. He said he doesn't even know Kwabena Edubwahin. There are some people on social media.
Yesterday on my show, Kwesi Kwarteng, who's a member of the NPP communications team, sat here and said that Kwabena Edubwahin was not a member of the NPP, that he has no knowledge of him being a member of the NPP. And then it turns around that in the manifesto committee's formation of the NPP
I posted this yesterday.
Exactly,
I saw that. 2024 manifesto committee of Bawumia, Bawumia for President 2024. When you look through the manifesto committee, there's different sections: transport, foreign affairs. Go to security. Security number 6. Manifesto member.
Let's give people the benefits of knowing the members of the security committee.
Right. The members of the security committee. Number 1, Mr. Edward Asomeni. He's the chair. Nana Eya co-chair. Honorable Dominic Nitiwu. And then Honorable Henry Korti. That's Honorable Kofi Amankwa-Menu. Mr. Kwabena Edubwahin. He's right there. Nana Atobra. Honorable Ambrose Derry. Mr. J.K. Mensah, Ambassador Peter Upata, Dr. Albert Enchibosiaku. Look, this is not my document. This is a public document. It was published online. CTFM published it. Other media houses published it. This is public information. So it's unfortunate that You can clearly see these NPP members, they are trying so hard to distance themselves from him. And I don't understand their communication. Some of them are defending him. Some are distancing themselves. You can't say he's not an NPP member. At the same time, you are defending him. You need to choose your position. You see, it's okay to accept that he's an NPP member and still be able to say that, no, what this gentleman has done is beyond reason and he should be dragged through the wheels of accountability. Let us go to court and find out, is he guilty? Or give him a chance to defend himself. He's allowed to, every human being, even in the case of murder, is allowed to defend yourself, right? But you cannot just sit back and blanketly say that this gentleman has done nothing wrong. If you value this country, if you love this country, and you really want accountability, we cannot choose and pick accountability. You cannot say that you want accountability, but the moment they mention someone that is part of your party, don't forget that he will be someone's family member, someone's brother. Then you start to defend. Allow the facts to be aired. And after listening to all these issues, you want to tell me that there's nothing wrong? Personal enrichment. This man proceeded to justify the fraudulent transfers by forging an invoice from ISC Holdings. You can't tell me after listening to all of this that there's no criminal intent. Then he further made, no further payments were made to ISC Holdings after that initial transfer of $1.7 million. He never made any further payments. Now, the remaining 39.46 million Ghana cedis, that's $5.2 million, were used for their personal benefits. They used it to pay different companies for whatever, which is still under investigation because we need to establish exactly what some of these payments were for. And some of those payments were used for the properties that you see.
Yeah.
Properties that are almost, 37 something properties in total. To what extent? Before you sit back and ask yourself some questions. Lily, imagine taking state funds and buying myself. These are the properties that have been seen. No one knows about those that we've not seen yet. And there are probably so many transactions that have not yet been discovered. These are the transactions that can be traced. What about the cash transactions that we were not able to see? If we're not there, we'll not see it until maybe there's some special evidence pointing towards
it. Or paper trail.
Thank you. And then there will be further investigation. These ones are clear trails because if you use bank accounts to transfer, then it's there for the investigation to go on and find out. But it is interesting to note that these persons are trying to defend the indefensible. I am tempted to even say that these people do not love Ghana like they claim. Because if you do, you will be very open to proper investigation and accountability.
No, let me hold you there and engage Amanda Kwakwa Clinton. She is the head of Chambers for Clinton Consultancy. Amanda, thank you very much for joining us. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Thanks for having me, Lily, on the show.
You're welcome. Now, let's look at the issue at hand. A few people say, well, it is not wrong, but this is new to us. We don't usually find the Attorney General coming into the public to tell us the state of investigations, giving us evidence gathered.
Well, that's true, but given the fact that this gentleman was in public office, he's held to a higher standard, and he's also in a position of trust. We also have to remember with the Attorney General that, he has a constitutional mandate to protect the public purse and to investigate prosecutions as well as, let the public know. Where I don't agree with his full approach is that there is a presumption of innocence until proven guilty, as Article 19(2)(c) of the 1992 Constitution says. And furthermore, there's an emphasis on equal and fair trials in Ghana. So, transparency, the rule of law, and credible legal processes, and not emphasizing, and just sort of emphasizing politicization over, the institution itself might not be the best approach. For instance, this list of properties is incredibly informative, but in a court of law, the evidence is adduced in a court of law. And as we saw in relation to the case of the current sitting finance minister, when he was being dragged through the courts just last year, it was a public forum in terms of the media was allowed in and the media was allowed to report. So one would have expected the AG to at least charge the man before highlighting this case amongst and then say it's, 21.9 billion. And this is just a tiny bit of the case, and just highlight, I filed charges yesterday. You know what I mean? And then during the case, we would, this evidence would become a public document as an exhibit, etc. Then it naturally comes out. So we do have to, because this is his first, his first few months, the media and civil society do have to hold him to account in terms of he's doing a fantastic job. He's started hard. He's liaising with FIC, local. They're all doing their job. But at the same time, everyone is presumed innocent despite the evidence, and let the evidence come out in court. So the media is there to, in that public forum, take the evidence and so forth. But it's setting a bad precedent, because if there's 21.9 billion to come, you see what I mean? The NPP obviously will not be able to distance themselves from everybody in that 21.9 billion. But for fair process, you have to ensure that in a court of law, the media can, bring out this evidence that they saw as an exhibit and everything. So his style is correct in terms of he must inform the public, because this is public interest, this is the public purse, etc. But the style of going into things that would ordinarily be exhibits and to criminalize someone before a trial has finished, when that is the judge's job, perhaps has to be fine-tuned a little as he continues with the rest of the cases.
You talk about going to court, let the judges determine. The lawyers of Kwabena Dubois say that the Attorney General is subjecting their client to public opprobrium. And so what if they go to court and then the court finds him and his wife not guilty? Is that not reputational damage?
It's absolute reputational damage. And we do not have a trial by media and prejudicial commentary in this country, or we shouldn't. It's not something that we should encourage. Yes, oral is a policy. It is a main policy of NDC. Yes, they should keep us updated as to how they came up to that 21.9 billion. And this is one of the cases. This is 7 million. So when you file the charges, the day after filing or on the same day, say, by the way, this is the countdown of the 21.9 and this 7 million case has been filed. It is now a public document. You see what I mean? And then, even the summary or the writs can be published, because then it becomes published. But I don't believe in this, particularly because the AG in the same instance is also saying, well, I'm not going to file charges until we've got all the evidence, we've got all our ducks in a row. And so if you haven't got all your ducks in a row, but you've got a lot of information, then get your ducks in a row, file the case, and as soon as it's filed, every media house in this country could have printed or published what the charge was, what the amounts involved are, and even later publish the exhibits. But I do strongly believe in what his lawyers are saying, because first and foremost, they said he had a right to legal counsel and the 48-hour rule in terms of take him to court in 48 hours or justify it under national, national measures in terms of national security, but at least communicate something. They also spoke about the trial by media, its prejudicial commentary, although the AG could argue public interest and the need to update citizens. But I really believe in the presumption of innocence and fair process. And if we're going to go to IMF again, for instance, and say that we want to restructure the IMF deal, these are things they're going to be looking at, whether we're being transparent, whether the cases are politicized, and...
Okay, Amanda.
She says he's doing a fantastic job, so I will leave it at that. The Attorney General, don't forget, after Mr. Kwabena Dupuahin and his wife were arrested on the 21st of March, once you arrest someone, there are questions. People want to know why you arrested the person.
Right.
It's imperative for the Attorney General to come out and answer. As what his lawyers are saying, they are his lawyers. What do you expect them to say? His lawyers will defend him to the end of the case. They will go as hard as possible. That's what they've been paid to do. And judging by the things we are seeing, he has the money to pay the best of lawyers. So they will come out. I'm expecting them. We wish Ghana well. My lawyer Clayton mentioned going to the IMF, going to international institutions. We keep going to beg for money. These institutions are observing what's going on in our country.
Exactly.
They have seen the levels of corruption in the previous administration, and they are expecting that there will be some form of accountability in this administration. The NDC has promised the people of Ghana that it will come and bring to book all the persons who confidently stole from this country. We cannot come and ignore all the people who stole. Well, the monies that have been stolen is more than the money that we are going to beg for from these countries. You think they take us seriously? If we're able to plug the loopholes in this country and avoid these unnecessary...
Ghana is no longer a safe haven for corruption. I think that's the message President Mahama said, and the Attorney General is following through on. And there is no excuse for this, because there is no excuse for 6.25 million at least can be accounted for through his and his wife's accounts. We completely understand that there's no excuse, and it's not something that you can win in court. But again, fair process is and due process does mean that when the media publish these documents with a court stamp on it and an exhibit number, and it even legitimizes it even
to diseased Africans and claimed in the United Kingdom. Some of these properties are proceeds of crime. Some of these properties were hidden by Africans. They left no wills. They left no next of kin. They didn't want people to even know about these properties. That's where our money ends. That is where our money ends. You think you are stealing for whatever to enrich yourself. How long would you live? How much can you spend? You go and buy close to 40 houses. Can you live in all of them? Maybe you are renting out some. You are getting some good income from them. But how much are you spending every month exactly? And don't forget that when these things are proceeds of crime, you are trying your best to hide them. Some of your family members might not even be aware. You don't control your life. You die tomorrow. What happens to them? Wasted. You stole our money for nothing.
Yesterday, Amanda, while you're still on, yesterday there was a communique by spokesperson to the president and Minister for Government Communications, Phyllis Kwachu-Fusu, to the effect that there were 3 petitions which were submitted to the president, and the president has forwarded them to the Council of State to look into, and then we can trigger Article 146 of the 1992 Constitution for the removal of the Chief Justice. And we know in this country that we've triggered that a number of times, but we have never been successful. What are the nuances of this particular one?
The nuances of this is, I think it's likely to go through, because Professor Asari, if we remember back in November, wrote a very strong petition. It was based on 3 grounds, and the Council of States didn't agree and thought that he seemed to be getting it wrong in terms of it lacked merit and failed to establish a prima facie case. We don't know what these 3 petitions state, but I wouldn't be surprised if Professor Asari's petition was refiled, because it was very well written. But he, for instance, said that his main qualms with her, that she should be removed because of this unilateral request for Supreme Court appointments unauthorized issuance of practice directions, and the arbitrary reconstruction of judicial panels. It's the last point that I think may work this time round, because, literally to repanel when a judge is already sitting, particularly after, evidence has been adduced and at different points, it suggests that you're doing it because you think the case isn't going a particular way, so you're taking it another way, you see? So I think he cited quite strong cases for that. But we don't know what the 3 petitions state, but removal is something that historically has been tried time and time again, but it's never worked. I think in 1997 they tried to do it during the military council regime. No, they did succeed actually with Crab. They removed by a special decree during the Supreme Military Council regime. So that's the only time it's worked. And then in 1980, Justice Fred Apalu faced parliamentary rejection but was reinstated following the Tufo Attorney General case, which emphasized constitutional adherence. So it would be very, very difficult to move her, and it would set a precedent that every government that comes in can. But if she is seen as reconstituting panels at will when a case isn't going a particular way, and, the State Council agree with that because they can see the cases, this might be the exception, but it would be very difficult to remove her. Yeah.
One of the, since you cited Professor Kokwasari's petition, one of the reasons then President Nana Akufo-Addo cited for dismissing the petition was that he went against the same Article 146, but then the Clause 8 of it. Now let me read what Article 146 Clause 8 says. It says, all proceedings under this article shall be held in camera, and the justice or chairman against whom
there isn't really much to say about the removal of the CJ, because what's more important, does our constitution allow for her removal?
Yes,
it does. Article 146 allows for her removal. Can it be done? That has been answered. It means that it is possible and can be done. In January, she mentioned there was a petition from Professor Asari, which was dismissed. Now we have 3 petitions. It means there are growing concerns. The president, in his wisdom, has referred these petitions to the Council of State for them to advise him. Don't forget that among them is a former CJ. The findings will determine what will happen afterwards. Now let me just take you through some of the steps for the removal of the Chief Justice. As
Article
146 of the 1992 Constitution has said. Now that article has been activated by these petitions and by the referral to the Council of State. The President has received it. The President cannot on his own just decide that they hold merit or not. So he has taken it to the Council of State. Now, once they determine if there's merit in the petition, the consultation will start. They will have to constitute like maybe a 5-member committee to go through the petition and decide. 2 of them must necessarily come from the justices of the Supreme Court. Now, one of the 2 shall be appointed by the President to chair the committee, and there shall be 3 other members who are not lawyers, MPs or Council of State members or judges as part of that committee. Now, there are currently 13 judges of the Supreme Court. All of them were appointed by President Akufo-Addo, former President Akufo-Addo, except 2. One Paul and another one Gabriel, appointed by President Mahama in 2015. Now, the committee will require to look through the petition and inquire into the allegations that have been made and their recommendations to the President. Now, whether the Chief Justice should be removed or not will be decided. Then the meeting of the committee will be held. It's kind of a secret meeting. It's not a meeting that you and I can just walk in and be part of. The Chief Justice has a right to be represented, and she will be properly represented. Now, the president will act in accordance with the recommendations of that committee. It means that if the committee says the Chief Justice should be removed, then we have a case. If the committee comes back, and you can see that clearly this committee is not a committee that the president has any power over. The committee comes back to say she should be left to stay in office. The president will leave her to stay in office. So we are waiting for the Council of State to begin the process, and we'll find out what the committee has recommended. Then
is this in any shape or form a political witch hunt? Because prior to 2024 election, we had some commentary from the NDC. Categorically, on this platform, Mustafa Gbande stated that, well, the Chief Justice, the EC chair, will be removed. Is this part of the agenda?
The NDC has no agenda to remove these persons. I believe recently the president was asked about the Electoral Commissioner, and it's not on his agenda. There are so many pressing things the president is working on. Removing the EC, what does she have to do? You know, whatever machinations she had before, it's done. And before the elections, we all saw how her utterances, even her deputies' utterances, were clearly against the NDC. Instead of them to maintain a neutral position, they became like MPP foot soldiers, shading and saying all kinds of things against the NDC.
Highlight cases, incidences, and different things, and they'll come to a conclusion. So it's not just a former Chief Justice, I think, that's on the Council of State, the first female Attorney General is also on the Council of State, etc.
Amanda, unfortunately, I can hear you, but I cannot see you. Our viewers cannot see you as well.
Is that better?
No, I cannot see you at all. The internet is stripped. Let's reconnect with you.
Sure, then I'll log out and log back in.
Okay. That'll be awesome. No, let me come back to you.
Yeah. So I think that this is a very straightforward case. Do I personally have any issues with the Chief Justice? I do not. If she has been found unprofessional in any way, doing things without due process, then she should be questioned. She's not above. She may be Chief Justice, but she's not above the law. We do not want a country in which anyone can decide that based on their position they are untouchable. Human beings, by their very nature, if you find yourself in an untouchable position, the kind of things you do against your people. The partisanship of the petition, I just want to retouch on that. Professor Sari.
Yeah, because we call him. He actually calls himself Kweku.
Actions that people suspect have been instigated from other sources that could be political. She has an opportunity to be represented so she can explain herself, right? The sense. And then they will tell us, sack the woman or keep the woman. Once we get there, there's no turning back. If they say keep her, we are keeping her. If they say sack her, we are sacking her. It has no political bearing.
Let's touch, before Amanda comes in, I wanted to speak about the A&C incident. But, it was quite a sad one. I wanted to find out from Amanda where these people stand in the face of the law. Can they seek remedies? But we'll touch on that subject. But let's come back to the issue of missing containers.
Missing ECG containers
at the Tema Port.
Yes,
I mean, over 1,000 of them?
Yes, 1,328.
Okay.
This is, I listened to the briefing yesterday, and the minister, when he took over office in January, had mentioned that there were some 2,400 containers stuck at the port. Now, don't forget that the time the minister made this known, it was because he had been briefed. He said it was in the handing over notes. He hadn't gone to the port to check yet, right? Now, among these 2,400 containers, they had even overstayed and were accumulating so many costs that had
demurrage.
Yes. So I think they said the liability was like some 1.5 billion because some of these containers some of these had been there for like 8 months. They had been there for a long time. They contained what? Cables and other things. He said even the content of some of them have to be ascertained because they are not sure the full content of all these containers. Now, the minister then decided, based on the handing over notes that were given to him, their predecessor said what? We have 2,400 containers at the port. I've seen the NPP members on social media running around, making all sorts of claims, trying so hard to blame it on the NDC. Now, do not forget that the minister has not even blamed anyone yet. He hasn't said it's the NPP that stole it.
Or the NDC.
It is possible that it is even during the course of the investigation someone stole it. It is also possible that they did not exist and he was just giving the handing over notes. Yes, so if your predecessor said 2,400, it doesn't mean that the 2,400 were there. But here is something of relevance.
Okay.
He said 2 companies had been contracted to clear those containers. 2 of them, one of them was pre-financed. And the one that was pre-financed did not even have relevant, completely different departments. They merged them. They took out the procurement manager and made the estates manager in charge of this clearance. The kind of things that have gone on in this country are not right. You cannot just ignore.
But what if he has knowledge of it to be able to do it?
Oh, estates and procurement are 2 different things.
I know.
There are 2 different departments. Even if you have knowledge, you can't have more knowledge than the procurement manager. On what basis will you kick the procurement manager out of the way and let the estates manager take over? It just, I mean, something doesn't add up over there. But thank God there's an investigation. That investigation will, at the end of the day, establish. The minister said he has tasked a committee to investigate, to establish if there's any criminality. And whoever is responsible or for that criminality, if any, will be brought to book. It's also possible that during the investigation, someone decided to take advantage of the lapse and go and, take these containers and put them wherever. It's also possible that those containers were taken even before handing over, right? But one thing we should be clear on, regardless of what time these containers were stolen, maybe they were never even supplied even after being paid for. And he mentioned that these containers cost somewhere between $300,000 and $500,000 each container. So you can imagine how much we're losing. So if anyone has in any way tried to take these containers, whether it was before they were supplied, while they were at the port, after handing over, before handing over, one thing we should all be clear on is that we should all want some accountability. If someone has stolen the containers, whether the person is NDC or MPP, I want us to find out who. And I want that person to bear the full brunt of the law. We cannot be in a country where we allow lawlessness and crime just because the person is from our party, and then we just come out and wholesale defend the person even before listening to the facts of the case. They've been out there saying the minister said 2,400 containers. Now he's saying some are missing. Yes, he said 2,400 containers because you people told him it was 2,400 containers. He did not know whether what you were saying was true or not. That's what you gave him.
But then he had to do an audit.
Thank you. It is from the audits that he has discovered that these number of containers are unaccounted for. They are missing. So where are they? You understand? I think sometimes even these handing over processes have to be more detailed so that someone cannot just cover themselves by saying that, oh, there's a transaction here saying we paid for 2,400 containers and so there are 2,000. You have to show us, If his predecessor had gone to show us, then would have seen that there is an issue over there. So nobody now comes to try to blame the minister in any way. The minister carried out an audit, which is the right thing to do. So we even saw the former Attorney General scheme to literally get him indicted. What became of it at the end of the day? Thankfully, we have an Attorney General who is very learned and professional. He's not trying to scheme to create trouble for anyone. He is going according to the facts. As for the information being made public, why does it make them so uncomfortable? If you claim that you are not guilty. The court will find out very soon. But the facts will be presented. Ghanaians have asked for, give us a reason why you are arresting our people. We've given them the information. We are a very accountable government. Once they ask, you give them the information and let them decide for themselves if the person is guilty. The Attorney General has not pronounced anyone guilty. He can't do that. He's taking it
in all of these issues regarding the ECG, what I find interesting is ECG has, well, it doesn't have a board yet, but it had a board. It had an entire management. If there were procurement of certain cables and other electrical issues in containers, why didn't the board see to it that these containers were cleared and put to use to the latter?
I think that, honestly, that's a very valid question, but I cannot answer that. The board members, former board members of ECG, should be able to answer. Because if you supervise such procurement breaches, then we have to question you yourself. We have to question your interest in the supervise the transfer of $2 million that the board did not agree to. So sometimes the board might not be aware. If someone deliberately sets out to commit crime, they can find a way to circumvent.
Bypass,
yes.
Yeah.
So in the case of the Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund, the board, some of the board members had no idea this had been authorized. The board chair and the CEO colluded to authorize the transfer of that $2 million. So anything is possible, and the investigation will bring it out.
I have also heard some members of the minority, the ranking member on the Mines and Energy Committee is in full support of investigation to unravel how such losses were incurred. Because for over 1,300 containers, that's a lot of money.
Some of them
wasted.
contain meters, cables. Don't forget there are a lot of people who have been requesting meters.
Of no meters in their homes.
And they are sitting at the port.
Have made requests for months and they still do not have meters.
Yeah.
So if we have procured meters and these meters are sitting at the ports unattended to until they are missing, I mean, we should, all of us as Ghanaians should be questioning this.
Yeah. It's a matter that concerns all of us. Because you cannot just have a case in which this is supervised crime. Because at every stage, there's someone in charge. There's someone who should know better. There are CEOs, there are board chairs, there are board members. And for some reason, all of these persons are bypassed by one or two persons who decide that they will bulldoze their way through, commit a crime, just to benefit from it. These people have to be brought to book. You cannot tell me that we should just ignore these people. Some people say we should forgive so the next person, we have NDC people in government right now.
How do we forgive this? I mean,
Exactly.
I am wondering how we can forgive this. This is against the state. It is not against persons. It's against the state. How do we forgive?
It's criminal. It's criminal. It is impossible to forgive anyone. What we should do is pursue a criminal investigation, drag people to court, engage them in a full trial, and then the conclusion of the trial is what will be adhered to. Whatever there's there to find out. And believe me, there's so much rot in the system that will come out as these cases are tried. And you will marvel at the extent to which someone can go just to defraud their own country and enrich themselves. Very selfish moves. I am complete, even for NDC.
Any damage to cars, it doesn't just automatically absolve their liability. You know what I mean? Because there's a duty of care, regardless of any disclaimer, particularly if there's negligence, poor maintenance, and inadequate infrastructure. So they can certainly do so in terms of saying that, the mall failed to have a duty of care, the damage was foreseeable and preventable. And, perhaps if they had just done a better job in putting the solar panels on, then this wouldn't have happened. And then, that would help. But I would imagine A&C Mall would claim force majeure in terms of, that it was just an act of God in terms of a storm came and what would you expect them to do? So the judge would, see if that argument is advanced, the judge would probably ask, Was it unusually severe in terms of the storm? Was it unforeseeable? Could they have just, got a better contractor to put the solar panels in? And was the structure built and maintained to withstand typical, Ghanaian weather patterns? Because, on some of these roads, when you even see the level of water, when it's just rained, I mean, the level of water is too high. So it means that even the road wasn't designed to a fit standard. So similar arguments perhaps would be advanced by the car owners should A&C Mall say force majeure if this matter goes to court.
But can't these car owners also claim, what do you call it, structural integrity of the car park?
Of course, they'll say that it was poorly, inadequate infrastructure, poor maintenance, negligence. That's what they would go on. And it's not like they're asking for too much. I mean, they're asking for justice. So they have to manage it by just offering them something, preferably a mechanic that can do the job. So should it go to court, they won't have to pay legal fees, emotional damage if they were inside the car when it happened, and different things. And then it will just die down in the media as well. But if they don't manage it, then it won't die down, basically.
Okay.
Respectful way than we have seen in the last few days, back and forth, a certain supposed PRO. We found out later he's not even the PRO. He's a member of the PR department. So anyway, as long as the fire service has seen the need to come out and apologize, and I guess they themselves have agreed that his conduct could have been better. Where Dr. Bawumia is concerned, I haven't seen him in a while. Where has he been since his catastrophic defeats?
He's been around. I've seen him attend a few conferences
in Ghana.
Outside the shores.
Oh, okay, please. Ghanaians also need him, so he should try and make himself.
Well, he showed up for the Adum market.
He showed up, but you see, there have been other issues. God forbid there are any other disasters, but please show your concern wholesale. Don't choose and pick. So we will know that, yes, you are serious. Me as a Ghanaian, but I think he also mentioned that the government should complete phase 2 of Kejetia market.
Yeah.
I think it's a good call. But in 8 years, they could have completed it, right? They didn't. Okay. I think government should complete it. Government to assess if there are enough funds for that to be done. It will be included. I don't think it was part of this budget.
No.
Yes. There will be a review as time goes on. It can be included if the funds are available. But we know President Mahama has already taken the lead and promised to ensure those people are back to the market and back to their daily lives and earning a decent living. I think Kejetia is also going there. Is it?
He's issued a statement that he's out of town and that he's
out of town. Why are they still in court? Is he still in court?
Well, he didn't state in his letter, but he says, well, in due time he will be there.
I guess that was a trip that took him to court with Anas. We are waiting for him.
He will be there with his support.
Okay.
His team will also be on ground.
So Kennedy is saying he will come and show support. I thought what Bawumia went to do was for the party, or there are different parties now. Was not on behalf of the NPP?
Well, I did not see that. He went there in his capacity as former vice president.
I'm surprised that he went, and Kejetia also found the need to still release a statement that we are waiting for him to also come. So he will go and commiserate with the people, and let's see what will come out of it. But we thank Dr. Bawumia very much for finding it necessary to go and sympathize with the people of this disaster. We would like to see more of him in other areas, in the rest of the country. I mean, the North, even Boko is still dealing with issues. Let us see more of you. Thank you so much for your concern to the people of Ghana.
No, thank you very much. It's been exciting having you. That's North Halong. She's a member of the NDC communications team. Over Zoom, we had Amanda Koko Clinton. She is a private legal practitioner, head of Clinton Chambers here in Accra. That's it for. I'm back after this breather. Stay tuned in. to the show. This is still GHOne here on GHOne TV. It's now time for our lifestyle segments. And this morning, I've been joined by Carl Shackleton. He's the president and CEO of Ubuntu Entertainment. Good morning, Carl. How are you?
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. How many years in the arts and entertainment industry?
A little bit more than 30 years. Yes.
What have you observed over the period? I mean, because if I look at the name Ubuntu, that's a Swahili word,
Yes.
right? And you're based in the States.
Yes.
So it means that you've been able to identify both Western music and African music.
Yes. African music has always been an integral part of American music. Even if you go back to Marvin Gaye and the Motown, there has always been rhythmic elements. The blues and jazz all stem from African influences from the slaves. So I felt it was appropriate that when I started this company to create a oneness mindset where we're not separated, we are one, and I am nothing without you, and we are nothing without each other. So that was the mindset that created that entity. And nowadays, it's amazing how the African music has integrated with the American culture. It's a beautiful merge that happens where African music, whether it's from Ghana, whether it's from Nigeria, whether it's from anywhere from the continent of Africa, how American has embraced it. But I saw it happening 5 to 7 years ago. I knew it was coming. So,
if you look at music in the diaspora, music in Africa, even though Africa is catching up, there's a vast difference. There's a huge gap. How do we bridge the gap? I mean, you have traveled far and wide.
well, I believe it's already happening. I think opportunities are becoming more available for the African artist. As a matter of fact, I just signed a new artist while I've been here this past week. I believe there's enough talent especially in Ghana, where we can bring the quality on an international level to the international community for the Ghanaian artists, for the African artists. And it's been going on for the past 5 years. Afro beats and all the other music that Africa has to offer has opened its head and is dominating in the U.S. right now. And globally, it's getting the respect that it deserves. So what we're doing is bringing our resources over here and trying to bring more artists over there, and vice versa, bringing artists from over there more over here. So we look forward to changing the industry here and enhancing it and making it a lot more streamlined between the U.S. and the...
How old is Ubuntu Entertainment?
Well, it's about 5 years old, but we're House of Hits, the production company, has been around for more than 15 years. Yes.
What's your vision for Ubuntu Entertainment?
Well, it's a simple vision, but with different tentacles. I believe that the best way to describe it is to take the gifted talents that we have here in this country, give them the exposure, the attention that they deserve on an international platform, and also to teach. I would like to have an environment where I can have the youth be developed and being mentored. So by the time they're ready to be out there, there's an industry that they can partake in. And this is our vision, is to not only empower but hire as many people as possible in this environment and internationally.
How do you approach every music that you do, every score? How do you approach every project?
Being a creative person, as a record producer and a songwriter, and it's a relationship. You end up, each artist's vision is different. So as a producer, I try to become the artist and see their vision and embrace their vision and make it the best possible delivery that they can have. As a songwriter...
So you live in the song?
Yes. I become the song.
Okay.
And I remove myself out of the way and let God enter me, and then I become part of the environment. I know it's magical when you're in that space. It's amazing. But as far as a songwriter, I try to keep the formula that makes a hit. So I embody all that as I'm composing for the artist.
What type of genre do you do?
That's a very good question. I don't have a particular genre.
Why?
I do everything.
Okay.
From jazz, rock and roll, R&B. I've done movie soundtrack. I've done scores. But for this market, as far as the type of artist we're looking for more Afrobeat, Afrofusion, anything that deals with a rhythmic element with a melody.
Is it not challenging for you then to be able to write songs as a songwriter? Because if you're doing various genres, I mean, it will take time to understand how this genre works, Is it not challenging for you?
No, it's like drinking water. If you've done it long enough, it comes naturally. Yeah. I was fortunate enough to be around diverse styles of music growing up. And my first recording session was at Berklee School of Music, which is a top university in the States at 14. So I've been around a lot of gifted people. So music has always come naturally for me. And genre-wise, whether you're doing a symphonic score for a film or you're doing jazz music for a jazz artist, it's still the same. Or country song for a country artist.
Walk us through the process. Let's say you have a country artist for 2 weeks and you have a jazz artist for 2 weeks. How do you marry the two?
It's like changing clothes. Okay. Yes. You know, if I have to wear a traditional garb, I just wear it and I become the person inside of that garb. But if I have to be a country producer, I'll put on the cowboy hat and just it just comes naturally. You just become what you're working on. It's not about me as a producer or a record executive. It's about the artist and envisioning their vision and seeing the music through their light, through their eyes, and embodying that. And hopefully you can share their vision and bring that to the forefront.
Let's talk about your latest signing, Brittany Bowler.
Yes.
Why did you sign?
She has the gift. The gift is something that a lot of people may have talent, but they don't have the gift. The gift is when everything comes naturally for you and people love you naturally. Brittany has not only the gift, but she's a songwriter, she's a singer, and she's a rapper. And on stage, she's fire. She was born for this. And when I met her, I knew I had to sign her because she had all the elements. Some people can walk in the room and say, that person's a star. Okay. And then you build everything around them.
So you have the inkling to identify talent.
Yes, I've been very fortunate. I'm very, very fortunate to pick the hits.
Is this something that comes to you naturally, or you had to build it over the years?
It's both. I believe once you know the parameters that's required to make a person a star, it's innate in you. Also, you have to have a love of this industry and pay attention to the details that the industry has to offer. There's no difference star-wise between Michael Jackson or Prince. The difference is the music, but they all are people's people. When they walk into a room, you're going to feel their love. You're going to feel their energy. The stars have that energy. And you feel like you know them without knowing them. And they're willing to share their story with you right away. And that's a gift that most people don't have, but the stars have.
How many artists do you have on this label?
Right now we have 5 artists, and we just signed a new one. We'll make 6. The Ghanaian artist, her name is Mela Africa.
Oh, a Ghanaian artist?
Yes, we just signed her.
When did you sign her?
She has those elements that we were just talking about. I met her last week,
Last week?
Yes.
And you signed her already?
We signed her.
What were you looking for that you saw in her? Were you looking for artists in Ghana and she happened to be found?
No.
Okay.
I was hoping to meet a few artists from
Okay.
Ghana. We were at a restaurant and she came walking in and with the mass DJ, and we met, we talked. Then the next day we were in the studio. I invited her to the studio. We started working. I said, wow, she had all the right element. And I'm very proud to have signed her. And I'm looking forward to it.
For a week already. Are you looking for more Ghanaian acts?
Yes, I am. I definitely am.
Is that her?
That's Brittany Bowler.
Okay. She has a new song, is it?
Yes, she does.
Okay, we'll talk about the new song. But let's talk about Ghana. I mean, you met somebody a week and you've signed her. Are you sure she can meet the requirements of your label and the vision?
I am 100% positive. She's a beautiful young lady. She goes back and forth to Switzerland, so she lives both in Ghana and Switzerland. Oh. So she's traveled a lot. She has that flair that most stars have, and being a star requires certain attributes where when you put under pressure in the studio, you thrive and you enjoy learning. She has all those elements, and she has the personality. Okay. And I believe she'll represent Ghana very, very, eloquently on the world stage.
Let's look at collaborations. Are you looking at collaboration with any other label or just signing on artists?
Yes, that's one of the reasons why Ubuntu exists, is to merge. I mean, when we merge talents, we become more powerful. Being in Atlanta, one thing that separates Atlanta than the rest of the states and the rest of the cities is the fact that we work together. We work together. It makes us so much more powerful. The artists go in each other's sessions. We work together. It's not always about money. It's about elevating one another. And I look forward to working with some of the Ghanaian artists, or any artist for that matter.
Have you identified a few ones that you think fit into your vision?
Yes. Stoneboy, I believe, has the attributes.
What about him?
I think being different and being bold enough to be different, to me, that makes you stand out. And I think the young kids love him also. And
they do. We all do.
Yeah. To me, that's one of the assets you have to have, just that likability. And of course, Shatta, I would love to work with him. I would love to collaborate with anyone who has the it factor. Yes, we're open for collaboration between the artists in the States also, and the artists, and creating that synergy, that perfect synergy.
Are you looking at already made artists, or you're looking at those who they call underground acts as well?
Well, I don't have a preset mindset. I believe that if you have the it factor, underground is only the exposure that's missing. Sometime an underground artist will come on top of the ground and then become a star. I believe that you don't have to be made. We believe in artist development. A lot of companies, they want the ready-made artist. Mm-hmm. We believe that sometime when you mold, just like a jewel, you can design how the artist will be. And if you believe in art, sometimes a person will have the potential, may not have the opportunity yet. So I believe that if the artist is patient enough and wait to be developed, a year, 2 years, yes, we work with those type of artists also.
Okay, let's listen to Brittany Bowler's song and then ask you a few questions about it.
Okay. This is called, the song is called Reasons. Yes.
Reasons to believe.
To believe. When a person gives you the reason to believe.
Okay.
Yes.
Did you write the song?
I composed the music and I co-wrote the song with her. Yes.
So she wrote the song. She wrote the lyrics, right?
Yes.
When she brought the lyrics to you, what did you think about it? Is it something you accepted immediately, or you thought that, oh, you could tweak it that way, you can tweak it that way?
It's funny. I had brought the track to her first.
Okay.
And I had sung the hook of the song and asked her to go and write the lyrics to it. When she came back, she killed it first time around.
No wonder it's doing so well out there.
Yes. And it was magical. And we recorded it, and after that, we just kept recording new songs. Her album is done. Actually, it's out. It's called Evolution 2.0. We're very proud of the project. She's doing very well right
So that's her first album?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I understand you have a partnership with Empire Entertainment?
Yes. Shout out to my man, Bolare.
Yeah. Who happens to be my CEO.
Yes. One of the most beautiful soul I've met. And ever since we've met, the synergy has always been positive, and we have a lot that we will be doing in this space, the industry, the entertainment space. The fact that we're a production company, we're also a record company, we have so much to partake in together. I'm looking forward to all of it.
Okay. It's been great having you, and we wish you a good stay in Ghana. This is your first time. You should have been here a long time ago.
Yes, I apologize, Ghana. But I won't stay out for too long.
Okay.
And I'd like to give a shout out to one of the hardest working person in the industry, David Small, who's been by my side the whole trip, and we've been working together for a while. Brittany, keep doing what you're doing, and Bola, thank you. I truly appreciate everything that you've done, and all the people who shows us support in Ghana. The love is reciprocal.
We wish you a good stay, and we pray that you come back very often. That's Carl Shackleton, is the president and founder of Ubuntu Entertainment. We're back shortly. And on the hot seat this morning is the Member of Parliament for Assin South. He was a former minister, Deputy Minister for Education, Reverend GHOne Ntim Fordjour. He's back on the seat. Good morning. How are you?
I'm great, Lily. Yourself?
I'm doing awesome. How has it been? You're now on the Defense Committee. How has it been?
Yeah, it's been exciting being the ranking member for the Defense and Interior Committee. It's an interesting role because it's very insightful. You get to contribute your quota in maintaining, the peace, internal security and stability of our country, contributing to the public safety sector and the broader security sector governance. It's exciting so far.
You met the various heads of the security agencies to consider their budget estimates. From where you sit, is it enough?
I can say that it's inadequate, woefully inadequate. The entire allocation to the public safety sector, and there we're talking about Ministry of Interior, Ministry of Defense, and all the security agencies under them, particularly Fire Service, Ghana Prison Service, Immigration, Ghana Police, and all the Ghana Armed Forces and all the arms under them, and some very key narcotics control and all that. For some would say that within a modest means of the state, we'll make do with what's available. But for many other agencies, it's so important that we push for them to be prioritized. And so it is an advocacy that all of us will have to join. At the end of the day, it is one country we all have. And the men and women in uniform and officers are doing their very best. We have some of the smartest and some of the most diligent professionals within our security agencies who are sacrificing most patriotically, doing their best, very diligent at what they do. But they need the tools, they need the support, they need the resources. They are underfunded, and it's important that we all heighten, particularly those at the bottom low of the ladder. All of them are, like I said, are underfunded, but there are a few ones that we need to single out and see how the Minister for
a few ones
Finance,
like the Ghana National Fire Service?
Absolutely. We have just a few days ago, the Speaker of Parliament made a referral to a Committee of Defense and Interior jointly with the Committee on Local Government. And our task is to investigate the recent spate of fire outbreaks that have raced down markets, Kantamanto markets, Adum markets, Odumasi, Konongo, Techiman, and other related market fire incidents, which have denied the livelihoods of many people, wiped out investment and lifetime earnings of people. So we are going to go into all these. But these incidents have also brought to light certain, weaknesses and certain challenges that we need to address.
Okay.
And I say that, I dare say that the Ghana National Fire Service is one of the agencies or state agencies in this country which has been so unfairly, bastardized. It's been so misperceived, and whenever there's fire outbreak, everybody, inadvertently wants to blame it at fire service. When you call them and there's delay, we blame it at them. When they are there and they're struggling to fit the accessories to extinguish the fire, we blame them. And when water runs out, we blame them. When the water hydrant is ineffective or is non-existent or is not maintained and there's really no water in it and they are constrained in effectively attacking the fire and extinguishing it, we blame all that on them.
Who do we blame?
And so, they are not the people to blame. We have to blame, one, the state for continually, for the past 15 years, underfunding that sector. If I'm to tell you the number of fire tenders we have in this country, you'll be sad. And particularly the hydraulic platform fire tenders, which can go to heights and be able to extinguish fire outbreak to the 4th floor, 5th floor. We have only 3 in the whole of this country. And so... And
where are they stationed, these 3?
One is in Kumasi, one is Accra, there's another somewhere else. Okay. But it's important we resource them. And most of the equipment are outdated. Elsewhere, by 5 years, they change they change all the equipment, they consider them obsolete. But we are still dealing with very old equipment.
When was the last time it was changed? I mean, if you have the briefing.
No, the equipment we are using are very old. Most of them are very old.
Like how many years ago?
I may not be able to go into all the details,
okay,
but for some circumspective reasons. But I want to say that the generality of the equipment we are using, they are old. Some of them, even when they break down, you can't even easily get their spare parts to fix. What we need to do is complete retooling. We need also to be able to purchase rapid intervention vehicles. Those are the smaller ones. Those are the ones that look like pickups, pickup trucks. So they can easily maneuver and quickly get to the scene until the fire tender, the quantum fire tender, big ones come in there, because maneuverability is a problem in this country. Settlement planning is a big problem. So before the big ones can even maneuver to get to the scene, they get to the street, it's blocked, somebody's shop is here, somebody's container, somebody's house, and they will have to go run in some streets that are not really accessible. But the smaller ones, if available, and we place them at vantage point in districts, in per-urban areas at strategic points, they will easily get in there, and the response time will be very fast. By the time they get in there, we must also remember that no matter how full the water that should be in the tanks, the tender may be, within 3-5 minutes on the scene, it will be finished. It will run out. So when fire service people come on the scene and water runs out, it is not that they didn't fill their tender. That's how it is supposed to be. Then they must quickly plug into the water hydrant that is available, which is supposed to be installed by Ghana Water Company, which is supposed to be maintained by Ghana Water Company, because they take revenue. Every water bill that you pay, 1% goes to servicing that. So it is the responsibility of Ghana Water Company to install those fire hydrants, maintain them.
But how many do we have now? As a child, when I was growing up in Community 1, I used to see them dotted across. Anytime you're playing, you're making sure that you don't go close because you could injure yourself. Today, I barely see them.
Yeah, because some people have been built on them. The Techiman incident, for instance, videos came out where somebody for the past 50 years had built, put concrete, tiled, and put a container on a fire hydrant, and they've been shopping, doing their trading as if there is no authority or no state agency whose job it is to regulate and enforce that particular regulation. And so many of them, we have shops, homes, and other things sitting on them. Some have also not been maintained. Then we also need to install in additional places, additional installations in high-risk areas. Markets, high-risk areas need to have sufficient installations. That task force is one of the things we're going to advocate strongly for, a joint task force to be mounted to conduct nationwide audits in conjunction with MMDAs, nationwide audits of where hydrants must be, where they are and need to be maintained, new ones that have to be installed. And when we do so, we'll need to also have a conversation going forward how that can be maintained, so that fire service will be supported, and then people will not have to vent their frustration. And like we saw on the video in the attempt of the National Fire Service to extinguish fire that broke out in the Adum market. You saw the regional minister throwing tantrums at the officers who were doing their job, and calling them all kinds of names and using all kinds of words unbecoming of a minister.
And you have called him egoistic.
It is arrogant. It is not humility, and it is demoralizing. He even went further. He has ordered the termination, transfers of some people, and some apologies had even had to be written by the chief fire officer. Here has been rejected. And so what kind of arrogance, what kind of display of arrogance are we seeing? When you are given power, all of us have been deputy ministers or ministers, but you have to be humble, because these are colleagues. We are all serving the public with them. They sacrifice their lives. They go out there. Some even die with a fire. And in the recent incident that occurred in Odumase, when there were some explosions, the explosion affected the men who were on site extinguishing fire. And as we speak, fire service personnel in Odumase are fighting for their lives in the hospital. And some of them, when they are even discharged, may not be able to return to work. They can never work again. And that is the kind of risk these officers, gallant officers, put their lives through into maintaining public safety.
Don't you also think that in the spate or in the spur of the moment, tempers were high? These were lives at stake. These were livelihoods of people at stake. And so if I am a minister, I go to the grounds, I do not have full-scale detail. I ask for detail, and you tell me the contrary. Don't you think I have...
What was the contrary? And that is what I said, that a lot of stakeholders, and as a regional minister, he must have had a lot of briefing, because he works with the regional chief fire officer, works with them. He's a REXA chair. He should have his intelligence and briefings, and he should be aware that in the operations of fire service,
combating fire.
Yes, combating fire, no matter how big the fire tender is, if it is not the helicopter type we don't have in this country, where you can have chemical powder that can, just be sprayed to attack the fire, whether it's highly inflammable or whether it's just combustible, like we saw in California. If it is just this water fire tenders, they operate with water, and the volume in that fire tender, even the biggest one, within 3-5 minutes, it will run out. So if you came there and saw that their tanks were empty, it's not that they are ineffective or incompetent. And he should have taken his time so that they explain things to him. But there's camera on him, camera on the people. I mean, this kind of TikToking and camera things, let's get serious with business. We are combating fire. That's not the time cameras and all that are necessary, and putting officers, allow them to do their job. They interviewed the Ashanti regional commander. One of the journalists put a camera on him. He was very polite and said, look, yes, we are trying to do our job. And then a few minutes, and then he walked away professionally. So the regional minister should have, even if he was compelled to speak to the cameras, should have just spoken for a few minutes and rather give morale to the people to work. Not to get into altercations that are avoidable. So we have taken interest. We are saying that if you cannot do anything to resource the men and women in uniform, to resource them with the requisite tools and equipment to more effectively combat fire, and you cannot also motivate them, the least you can do is to threaten them and politically intimidate them, order their transfers and terminations here and there. We will stand with every worker, every officer of the National Fire Service to ensure they do not suffer any egoistic political orders for their unfair termination, transfers, or whatsoever. We have engaged the chief fire officer. We have obtained her assurances, and fairness will be done. No further disciplinary action whatsoever ought to be preferred. We need to let matters die where it is. There's been some apology letter very competently written to the regional minister. If he felt offensive by any words whatsoever from any officer, that letter, signed by a whole chief fire officer of the country, should suffice. And let's drop political egos and rather focus on the more important issues of resourcing the service to more effectively.
You have had a problem with the shake-up in the military recently. Why?
Yes, and it's good you have very effective, constructive opposition. The minority rose up, and we rose up not just to criticize, because security is sensitive. Ghana Armed Forces is all we have. And so it is important that in managing transitions, it is done with absolute circumspection, without any tendency of introducing politics or sacrificing meritocracy on the altar of politics. And we saw some elements in there, and we rose forcefully, and quickly we saw some changes, though not to the extent that we wanted. But we are okay for now with the changes that were occasioned by the concerns we raised, and how things are going to be managed. One of the first concerns we raised was that every president that assumes office in the Fourth Republic have had their constitutional prerogative. They've exercised it. They've had to appoint new chief of defense staff, and sometimes they even go further. After changing the chief of defense staff, they change the chief of staff of Ghana Armed Forces, and at the minimum, those are just the 2 changes. Sometimes they do just about 3 changes. We saw President Kufuor how smoothly he managed the transition from President Rawlings. We saw how President Atamels took over, made minimal changes, and then continued working with the commandants and the security chiefs he came to meet. And then we saw how President Kufuor, when he came in, he just changed the chief of defense staff, changed the chief of army staff, and in replacing them, he replaced them with the chief of army staff that President Mahama had appointed and worked with. That was the man that he promoted, Major General Obedbo Amakwa at the time. He was the Mahama appointed chief of army staff. And that was the man President Kufuor appointed chief of defense staff. And in final replacement for the chief of army staff, he looked through and asked around, consulted who is the next most senior general, and it was General Ayamdo. And then he was appointed. But for the chief of naval staff and chief of air staff that he came to meet, no changes were made. He worked with them till their end of term in 2019. And so we were expecting same to have been done. But be that as it may, there were changes. But the changes went too deep. So that is the concern we had. It was too deep, jumping from intake 26 all the way to intake 30. And was even in some instance all the way to intake 34. But that intake 34, we spoke about it and it has been reversed. So you saw in the final publication that came, there were changes made from the first communication that came, and that's we are okay, and we support the transition.
What's the status of the Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill?
Yeah, the Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill has commenced its legislative processes in Parliament. As we submitted to Speaker of Parliament and to the clerk, it was referred. Speaker quickly referred it to the Legislative Drafting Department, who looked at it and then also gave their opinion, a legal opinion. We quickly conducted fiscal impact analysis on it just to determine that it is not going to have an additional fiscal imposition or financial imposition on the state because it is a private member's bill. And that was done. It fell within the eligibility criteria, and then we are now progressing. So we are very hopeful that as we are busy with budget estimates now after appropriation, by the time we are back from recess, from somewhere next year when we go on recess, by the time we are back, it will go for gazetting, and when it matures, it will be laid on the floor for subsequent consequential considerations.
Okay, there are a few questions on my mind. So regarding retooling the Ghana National Fire Service and how we should deal with the market fires. But let's do some celebrations now, and then we can come back to this conversation.
Very well.
Let's do some celebrations now. Happy 5th birthday to Edel Asari, wishing you happiness and all good things in life. All good things life offers. As you mark your day, we pray for long life, good health, and above all, God lift you above your peers. We love you from your lovely parents, Mr. and Mrs. Asari. Happy birthday, conversation with Reverend GHOne in Ntim. My name is Lily Mohammed.